I'm Kara from Pike Nurseries, and today we're going to talk about growing and planting tomatoes. There are two types of tomatoes to choose from, determinate and indeterminate. Indeterminate tend to get larger and more viney, and they set flowers and fruit all throughout the growing season, so you could have fruit at different sizes all the way from June until August. The determinate type tend to be a little bit more bushy. They don't have as long of a production season, so you get more fruit in a shorter window of time with the determinate type. Next, you want to choose your variety of tomato. One of my favorites is actually heirloom tomatoes. This is a Cherokee purple tomato. It's an indeterminate type. Another one that is very popular is the cherry tomato. Cherries are super easy, produce a lot of fruit, and is a great variety for you to do for salad. There are also slicing tomatoes such as Better Boy or beefsteak tomatoes that are really good for slicing, for your salad, and also to put on sandwiches. Next, you can do more of the paste or sauce type with the Roma tomatoes. There's lots of different types for you to choose from. One of the most common questions about tomatoes is when can you plant them? Tomatoes really like warm soil, so you want to make sure that we've passed the frost-free date before you plant them. Tomatoes like full sun. They need at least 6 hours a day to produce fruit. If you are going to plant your tomato in the ground or in raised beds, you want to make sure you amend your clay 50-50 with tight vegetable and flower soil. Clay is very dense and compacted and does not allow for good drainage of your tomatoes, so it's important that you mix those two in a 50-50 ratio. For planting in a pot, you want to use the Pike potting soil. It's lightweight and provides great drainage for your tomato. Next, you want to make sure that you use the Dr. Earth Root Zone fertilizer. The Root Zone fertilizer really gives the roots a great head start for your tomatoes. Once you've selected your tomato, you want to carefully remove your tomato from the container. Tomatoes have vigorous root systems, so you want to make sure you don't damage the roots. And you want to carefully, especially if it's a little root bound like this one, break up your root system just a little bit. One thing about tomatoes that is very different from any other plants is that you can remove the lowermost set of leaves, and the tomatoes will actually root out right where you remove the leaves. This will allow your tomato plant to really have a good foundation of roots and make it even stronger to produce flowers and fruit. Next, when you're done planting your tomato, you want to make sure that you go ahead and put your tomato cage on right when you've planted it. Tomatoes actually get very large and the fruit are very heavy, so you want to make sure that it is supported during its growth time. The cage is also very important to make sure that your tomato fruits don't touch the ground, which can cause your tomatoes to rot. After you're done planting, it is very important that you thoroughly water your tomato. You always want to make sure that you water the actual soil and root system, and you do want to water before 10 a.m. It's important that you don't keep the actual foliage wet, as that could cause fungus issues. Tomatoes are very heavy feeders, so you want to make sure that you fertilize your tomatoes regularly. You want to fertilize them once a month with Dr. Earth tomato and vegetable food. And now that you're ready to start planting, you can come down to one of our Pike Nurseries locations, and one of our certified experts will help you choose your tomatoes and get you started with your planting.